Oh, hello. I'm sitting far too low for this. Hello and welcome. It's been a second. So I gotta turn this down for me. It's been a while since I did Endwalker, or stream for that matter. Hang on, is that good? It's a good metric, I think. Anyway, hello everybody. So I hope I explained it pretty well last time, but the reason why I took a quick break from Endwalker was, frickin' my Gunbreaker class was hitting level cap. So I was trying to level up a class in the meantime, so that way, as I do MSQ, I can just use that to turn in the quest and eat that experience. But I neglected to realize that I had leveled up I had progressed so far in the story that leveling a class up to 80 was no longer enough. I had to get it up to 82 specifically. But just to be safe, I leveled it up to 83. But anyway, I wanted it to be a tank class, just so that it's much more enjoyable for the queue and stuff like that. We'll see how it goes. But the class that I ended up going with was not Marauder. It is actually my Reaper class. So my Reaper class is currently sitting at just above 83. And I got some cool glam for it too. I think I am all set and ready. I'm very excited to continue. Anyway, just to recap what... Oh, I don't need to. I should do one of these. There you go. There's also this gold saucer event happening right now, so... I was just... While I was leveling up the class, I was just sitting in the gold saucer, trying to get more MGP, and I have much more MGP now than I've had this entire time. But yes, in the meantime, I was trying to level up Marauder. I was trying to level up my Reaper class. You probably won't see my Marauder class, honestly, but just know that it's there, I guess. Anyway, just want to recap where we're at story-wise. Alfino finds himself mobbed with fervent admirers. One healthful young man points in the direction of Luis Aliapo, the name of a strangely familiar name to him. After which he provides you with useful information, but not before Lincoln wrestles. Oh, this is I feel like it would do me much better if I just look at this instead. I'm doing a capital idea. Where am I? Where am I in the story? Oh, okay. I literally just finished this area. So I don't know how long I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna try to make it worthwhile. That way it's not just oh yeah, I'm done here. But we'll see. We'll see how I feel about it. Anyhow. Okay. And also, freaking every single time I have some sort of day off, FF14 decides to go on maintenance. Literally, this happened like 3 weeks in a row. Like, I've had one day off, and they decide to do maintenance that same night. And, luckily, like, I'm off also. Oh, yes, we arrived at the school, yes, and we found out that Alfino was, popular here. But yeah, every single time I have like a proper day off, they decide to have maintenance, and it makes me so mad. But I'm starting to feel the rage a little bit of like, this is the only time I have to play and you guys have to do maintenance. Luckily, I do have several days off, so I'm not entirely mad about it, of course, and I have, like, of course, the rest of the day to do it. They have maintenance at a time where I'm like, I should not be playing anyway, but still. It'd be really nice to play for an extended period of time. Anyway. Well, it feels as we're one step closer to understanding the form's true motives and mysteries of life itself for good measure. Can I open this? No. I came here with the intent of expressing my gratitude, only to leave more indebted than before. I have a feeling his friendship and support will be a great boon to us in days to come. I need to remember what they found. We found Ki Aliapo. Oh yes, he's the guy that kind of saved us and back in the other area. Back in what's that place called? The Labyrinthos. Overseer of proceedings at searchers who eventually provides you with useful information. Due in no small part to mistaking for a gleaner, having spent more than enough time humoring your hopeless helper, you may okay to make us meet as she advised. You arrived at the laboratory to discover noticeable lack of scholars. Thankfully, a nearby student reveals he had spoken to Montaigne but a few moments ago, and follow your latest lead down the corridor. Montaigne has unwittingly sent you on a merry chase, but any frustration accumulated over the arduous search soon dissolves as you agreed to with the one. Yes, it was one of the teachers. This is a completely different person, I think. Lighthearted chatter then gives way to graver matters. It reveals that an enchantment has been placed upon all four members. Right. Okay. So that's why he couldn't talk about why the forum was so intent on moving everything out of Labyrinthos, and also doesn't want to help all of the Eorzea fight the Asians. Yes, and I remember making the analogy of like how in one of my early D&D campaigns there was a character who had this like curse placed upon him in the form of a tattoo, where every time he tried to speak about why he was in there, the tattoo would slowly move its arm or its hand out around his neck. It's cool. Onward we go then. I'm still a little bit lost, but I'm sure I'll catch up. I mean, I might just watch the old streams, if anything. Not to sound vain, but I probably will just watch the old streams to figure out where I'm going. Anyway. I feel so out of practice because I haven't streamed in so long. It was funny because my friend came up to me and mentioned, I was like, hey, what the hell, haven't seen you online in a while. I was like, I'm sorry. She's like, are you okay? I think that's what she said. Look, we're twinsies now, man, look. Look at that. I also chunked off the Crystarium for a cool scythe. Reaper's fun, by the way, also. I didn't want to just buy like a potion skip just to level up a tank class, because then I wouldn't know how to play it. So far, Marauder is not developed enough that I know the nuances of it, but so far it's pretty easy to play. But Reaper's very fun to play. From what I hear, your trip to the studio proved most educational. While you were away, I received word from our fellow Scions. News of the warding scales was met with much joy. Preparations are now underway to bring the leadership of the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance together to determine a way forward. Our friends have asked that we bring the scales in our possession to Limsa. The time has come for us to go on the offensive. Yep. I also noticed in my travels, the towers being added over in the horizon. It's pretty cool. I like world-changing stuff like that. And just seeing that everywhere was also kind of scary. Let's see what awaits us in Vilbert. She's still the only one that has that little thingy. They all got rid of that. I think it's supposed to help you see if somebody has the blessing or something like that, right? The echo. Virtua and alchemists with a great work put their heart and soul into each and every one of these scales. As much as I would like to escape the forum's watchful gaze, I've but little choice but to stay behind. We're running on thin ice, and if I, in my capacity as our official representative, were found to be consorting with foreign powers, well, you can imagine how that would go. Alright, thanks. It's weird how, like, it's constantly kind of implied that the Scions are this popular thing, but also that nobody knows what they're about. Also, are we actually going to Limsa? That's kind of cool, actually. Because you never really travel anywhere outside of the... Oh, okay, there you go. I don't remember ever traveling outside of the DLC area. Besides, is it cheaper if I do 2 loading screens? Like usually when you're in like Stormblood or Shadowbringers or whatever, you stay in the areas for that expansion. You'll hardly ever go visit any other areas. So that's kind of cool. Now I can do that thing that I remember just going like, what is that? I thought it was like some sort of like Endwalker thing, and I guess it technically is. That is really funny. As I was told to expect here. The Elder Seed Seer. Yeah, I'm sure I got it. My apologies for calling you away from Charlian at such short notice. On the contrary, we are honored and grateful, and pleasantly surprised to be joined by such esteemed company. It was only right that this discussion be conducted in person. We are locked in a war of attrition. Our forces struggle to contain the threat posed by the towers, and it's only a matter of time before we are overwhelmed. It's hot. Victory will only be claimed through decisive action, and we have taken the initiative to set the wheels in motion. Yep. So what are we gonna do? What are we doing? It hinges entirely on the warding scales and our ability to utilize their potential to the fullest. During your time in Charlian, the allied nations have been engaged on separate fronts with no end in sight. To make matters worse, a surge in abductions of kobolds, Sahagin, Ixal, and Ananta have given rise to an increasing number of primals as well. Your triumph in Rajat Han had given us hope, given us cause to hope once more. I feel like the map is also just wrong. And I just say it points you to an area near Ilsabard, but that's not where Rajat Han is. Time has come to free ourselves of this menace. It is you, the Scions, who have shown us a way. While the bulk of our forces will continue to hold the Telepharoi at bay, we will dispatch our finest to strike the enemy's heart. The Ilsabard contingent. I think such progress has been made in so short a span. Okay. Of course, to help people of Garlemald. Countless Imperial soldiers and civilians have been tempered, robbed of their free will. Of course. I do not ask we set aside the decades of conflict and conquest, and we simply choose to forgive and forget. I ask only that in choosing to remember we do not also forsake our compassion and morality, for without that there can be no reconciliation, only death without him. Jesus. Alright, now we can all agree. Our second objective is the colossal tower that Thancred and Urianger observed in the capital. I know it's a video game, but it's refreshing seeing a political figure talk like that. Though its purpose remains unclear, there's reason to believe the smaller spires are merely a precursor of what's yet to come. Until the Tower of Zot was toppled, we'd failed to make any headway, though the same could be said of Telepharoi. There's certainly no rush to press further into our lands. I wager the Spire's primary purpose is to divide and keep us occupied while they work towards our annihilation. This would appear to be substantiated by Y'shtola's analysis of the Tower's influence on ethereal currents. Based on her observations inside the Tower of Zot, the Spire siphon ether from the land, consuming it to maintain their form. Oh my god, they're fucking NFT supercomputers. Excess of ether remains unaccounted for, but we can be sure it is not being harnessed for our benefit. Could you imagine? I know this game came out before NFTs, or rather, this expansion was conceptualized before the rise of cryptocurrency. But it'd be funny to think, fucking crypto bros ruining the land with their giant heat sinks. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if it was being redirected to this larger spire in the capital. There's a logic in that. Yeah. It's tinier towers feeding larger towers. Alright. Where do we go? Of course. Go to Ilsabard. Go to the new area, please. Yeah. Be a big hero. They're gonna go with us. Right, I was gonna say, fucking Y'shtola, Thancred, and Urianger always get removed from the scene whenever some shit's about to go down. I don't know what it is. Once we deliver the warning scales to Alanigo, the contingent will embark on the journey with us. I love this music. Warm clothing, furs, and the like. Without it, the cold will do you in for the Telepharoi so much as strong steel. As for us, we'll keep the company busy while you're gone, not the only ones who can feel busy. Now go, safe and knowledge of yours will be as good, or better, upon your return. The same music played during the Reaper questline once, and every place I looked it up, I couldn't figure out where it was. Now that I know it's some Endwalker track, makes sense. This music's too heroic for it to just be used in that one dungeon. And sure enough, when I looked it up, it was being used with a that dungeon used to have different music. Not dungeon, but like that instance used to have different music when it first came out. Is this still locked? Aw, man. Just wanna go over there, it's pretty up there. You've been busy bringing down the tower and producing the keys to destroying the rest of them. You should be proud. Those warding scales of yours are what made this whole venture possible. Are you coming with us? Our role is to organize the various delegations into a cohesive unit. Once you've seen you all off, it's back to our respective posts. Okay, makes sense. We dare not neglect our duties for too long lest our defensive efforts fall into disarray. And just between us, there was a fair amount of opposition to the formation of the Ilsabart contingent. The very suggestion we send some of our finest troops behind enemy lines to render aid unto the Guardians has made me rather unpopular in certain quarters. Trying here, my man. I wish I could fight. He still really wants to fight. Lord Damray's struggle mirrors my own. For the time being, the best we can offer you is a peace of mind from knowing yours is in safe hands. As you fight the good fight in Ilsabard, I and the other commanders will do what we can to convince the naysayers that our cause is just. Thanks. Oh, hey, Gaius. Words of your exploits travel quickly. From what I gather, the protective talismans you obtained led to the formation of this expeditionary force. My contribution on this occasion is but a minor, that being the information I have shared with Maxim. For the sake of the people of Garlemald, let the fates be on your side. So you're staying here. Though every mote of my being cries for vengeance, I cannot be the one to deliver it. My presence alone would place the entire mission in jeopardy. Wow. I stand accused of murdering Emperor Varus and plunging Garlemald into chaos. Were I to travel the Ilsabard contingent, it would give my countrymen ample cause to question our motives. Conversely, those who believe me innocent may instead celebrate the return from former legatus and attempt to raise me to a position of leadership, further destabilizing the region and complicating the contingent's mission. He's very smart. It's very good. Whether I am branded a villain or hailed as a hero, I would only handle your efforts. Yo, hi! What's up, Juno? You made it. Thanks for joining stream. I was worried I forgot lots of Endwalker, but I think I'm all caught up. I tried to start up stream as quickly as I can, just to catch you, because I don't know when we were gonna go to bed. But I also don't want to stream for very late either. For what it's worth, you have no gratitude. You and your comrades had the strength and courage to deliver my country. I am starting. Gaius' rather unique circumstances, I instead will assume the role of your guide. Though I may have defected for political reasons, my love for Garlemald endures. I would stop at nothing to protect her and her home. Can we go? Can we go? We might even bump into an old acquaintance too. If I don't see you again ere you depart, may the Fury guide and protect you, all of you. I like how badly he really wants to fight. But like, I think the one time he ever got caught in a fight, he immediately got fucking ejected. What's this? My new traveling companion. The other members of the Ilsabard contingent are gathered in the royal palace. Yeah, let's go up there. You do gotta sleep soon. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm glad you're able to make it in. Happy Cowabunga Day. I'm so sad. That meme comes from this artist on Twitter called Flora Pros.
By the 12.
Hold on. Oh. That's the Alamigo. It's all of Alamigo.
Glad you could join us. I hope you don't mind, but we went ahead and started without you.
As you can imagine,
It's
our traveling
Thankwood.
Companions were eager to become acquainted.
It's Thankwood and
It is a rare thing
Uyange.
indeed to see such a diverse and talented group of individuals assembled for a single purpose. We fight not only for the sake of Eorzea, but for the entire world, including the people of Garlemald. Much rides on the efforts of the Ilzabard contingent.
Indeed, which is why I am glad to find myself in the company of many trusted comrades, yourselves included.
Lucia.
I have come at the behest of Lord Emmerich, who has honored me with the role of Ishgard's representative. And for the good of all nations, not least my former homeland, I am determined to see this mission through to its end. We have a hard road ahead of us, but walk it we shall, together.
We too welcome this opportunity to work together once more. I have faith that, if there is a way to resolve this conflict, we will find it.
Allow me to introduce you to the rest of our company.
Alright.
Everyone! If I may have your attention.
Gonna name every single NPC in this building. Who's that one? There's a lot of NPCs in one room, actually.
Might I ask you to speak first?
Yeah, who are you?
If I must.
Fucking Lysa Marmont
I
over
am
here.
Arun Senna, spokesman for the Gridanian
Mormont.
delegation. Here on behalf of my esteemed sister, the Elder Seedseer, we shall provide support and protection to those in need during our time in Garlemald. To that end, I am joined by healers selected by the Conjurers Guild, with the Order of the Twin Adder's Finest serving as our escort.
Suppose I'd better say my piece.
Hey.
Wait, I know you.
The name's Sicard, in case you've forgotten. Truth be told, I'd rather you had forgotten.
It's the pirate.
Anyway, the Admiral asked Captain Hilfier to send his best, and for whatever reason, he picked me. Of course, if I'd refused, I'd be the laughing stock of the bloody executioners, and my reputation's taken enough of a keyhauling as it is. But more importantly, like any pirate worth his salt, I know when you're staring down a storm, you gotta trust in the commander of your ship. So if the Admiral wants us to go to Garlemald, not for plunder and glory, but a promise of peace in our time, then that's what we'll do. Since we all know how much the Empire loves its steel, we thought we'd bring along a few smiths to make the most of it. Give them a pile of scrap and they'll cobble together anything you fancy. Of course, just like the Gridanians, we got fighters of our own. We might have come with a more constructive purpose in mind, but we're more than capable of cracking skulls, believe you me.
Wow.
Well, you're certainly raring to go. Then again, so are we.
Who's this? Who's this
The
brand
most
new
dependable
character?
warriors of Uldar and Alamigo have assembled at the Sultana and General Aldin's behest.
I like that she. I know she said she was
Garlemald has
gonna
truly
leave the
fallen,
Scions, but
and the whole place is likely to be
it feels like she
crawling
got
with
kicked
Telefra.
out.
We'll need plenty of troops to clear and hold a path for others to follow. That's where we come in. Naturally, Marshal Tarapin and I will be leading from the front.
It's been some time since I last saw you in your element on the battlefield.
From what I've heard, you've become pretty fearsome yourself. Master Matoya, the avatar of destruction.
It's been a long time since you've last seen anything, Y'shtola.
With comrades like these, I know we'll succeed, no matter what awaits us. And then we might finally get a chance to enjoy a good long rest. But until then, let's give it our all.
As for
I
Ishgard,
love
we Temple
Sigurd, is
Knights
it
have
'cause
come in
he's
force
loud?
to uphold our nation's commitment to the peace and welfare of our allies. The bitter cold of Garlemald is a formidable enemy in of itself. Our experience fighting in ice and snow will prove invaluable in the days ahead. Accordingly, I have been designated commander of the Ilzabard contingent. I will do all in my power to provide you with the leadership and guidance you require. The four high houses, House Hylinard foremost among them, have arranged for a host of machinists to join us on our mission. Their knowledge of Imperial Magitech is sure to be a great boon. They will address any problems of a technical nature, together with the smiths of Limpsa Lomitsa.
Where's Sid?
There is another awaiting introduction.
Huh.
Lord Emanolane!
Ah, yes. Emanolane de Forton, at your service.
Dumb and loud, there you go. Your two favorite things.
Though, lest there be any misunderstanding, I should stress that I've not become a fearsome warrior while you were away. Rather, far from it, actually. My brother, in his infinite wisdom, decided this would be an excellent chance to make something of myself. Oh, and fight for world peace and all that.
What do you think about
But
Emanolane,
should the
then?
opportunity arise for a spot of ballroom dancing, I will be
He's
your
kinda Twinkies,
twinkle-toed
isn't it?
gentleman of light.
Look, he even says the word twinkle. Look, see? Yep, that's exactly how I feel.
Huzzah!
I like the dramatic look away.
Like tales of daring do.
I believe that concludes introductions for the Grand Company of Eorzea. Our allies from the Eastern Alliance were due to arrive some time ago, but it would appear they have been delayed.
Would that be the Shinobi of Doma?
Emanolane says Happy Pride Month. Hey, Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Actually, they've been tasked with relaying messages back and forth between the various Eastern nations.
Emanolane
According
said
to Lord Here,
gay
however,
rights.
an equally capable company of warriors has been sent in their stead.
Out of my way, you preening fool!
Oh, hey, okay.
Forgive us for coming late. We are the delegates of the Eastern Alliance.
Cyrena, and you've brought company.
For
My
battle
friend
and
was
blood
going
we come,
through,
as a step is sorely
14.
lacking in both. No towers befoul our lands, so we marched on those of Doma, only to find them beyond our reach.
My friend was going through Stormblood, and she did not trust Sabrina the entire time. She was like super convinced that at some point she was gonna turn. And I was like, why? I was like, I don't know. She's too nice. She looks shady as shit.
But now our thirst for slaughter will be slaked. No quarter to the enemy! Sadu Hatun, no. We go to make peace with the Iron Men, not war.
Warriors of the Steppe, we've heard many tales of your bravery. We welcome you as allies. And these other ones you have brought
Are they gonna do the same joke a third time?
Members of the Dalmascan resistance group, Lente's Tears.
Who are those bunny
And the Bosnian
ladies?
resistance. Between them, they have a wealth of experience in espionage, and are particularly adept at infiltrating Imperial facilities. Which is fortuitous, since Garlemald's domain is so vast that I could never hope to handle reconnaissance duties all by myself.
She's like the nicest person ever. It is kind of sus, yeah, and she's like dressed up in like very bright colors. I just thought it was really funny.
Dalmasca, Bosnia, and Amigo. All lands which have suffered the tyranny of the Empire.
I actually don't remember Bosnia.
I would never presume to question your motives. Nevertheless, I must reiterate that our goal is to aid the victims of the Telophoroi, the common folk of Garlemald. And they are victims, make no mistake. Though I understand that many may struggle to see them as such.
You're more right than you know. For every one of us that answered the call, there were a dozen that refused. Not
God, I
only
love how
where we
just
went,
even that shot
could blame
is
them.
so anime.
The
Just
Empire's
reaction
always been
shots of everybody. Something in the middle of Shadowbringers changed, and they decided to make the shot composition, the writing, the pacing more melodramatic, more anime. And it's been such a great idea ever since. I'm so glad that Yoshi P's in charge of FF16.
But after seeing what we've seen, fighting and working against and with Garleans, there's no denying the simple truth.
Yoshi P got on camera during the state of play, and he was wearing Harshafont's necklace while he was presenting FF16, and I was like, oh, well, at least somebody cares.
They're just people. No different from you or I. They've got their share of liars and murderers, but so do we. So do we all. Fordola, who once swore herself to Garlemald, has proven herself a trusted ally time and time again. Every Eorzean here knows Cid Garland. the
Where is
Imperial
Cid?
defector who shared with us countless technological wonders.
Alrighty.
Maxima, who stands with us today, tried to reform Garlemald from within and make peace with Jonah.
How crazy would it be when you got back? I was done. I was finished.
So
Get
you
credits.
can believe me when I say that every fighter here understands and accepts that the Imperials are not monsters and are deserving of help. Or at least that they were able to put aside their feelings for the greater good. It won't be easy, but we're all determined to make this world a better place.
What lingering concerns I may have had were clearly unwarranted. I agree with everything you said wholeheartedly.
Then we are in accord. Now, let us review our strategy. To reach the Garlean capital in northern Ilsabard, we must cross the central mountain range. Fortunately, Garlond Ironworks can provide aerial transport, sparing us this most treacherous part of our journey. However, attempting to fly any closer to Garlemald would attract the attention of the Telophoroi. As they appear to have seized control of the majority of the Imperial military, we must assume that includes its fleet. In addition, Garlemald possesses devices that can interfere with airship navigational systems, further discouraging an airborne approach.
Given the circumstances, the closest we dare deploy our contingent is an area between the range and the capital, the Magna Glaciers. From there, we must travel the rest of the way on foot. We will also need to bring the airships with us to ensure we can withdraw with haste. Although much of the terrain will be blanketed in snow, we should be able to make use of local roads and shipping facilities. The vast ice field will afford us an unobstructed view of the surrounding area. On the other hand, it will also allow others to easily spot us, so it is imperative that we only make camp in positions where we can easily defend ourselves. And the airships, which must be kept safe at all costs.
We cannot account for every possibility, so we must be prepared to think on our feet. We will be tested. Sorely tested, I expect. But for our homes and for our people, and a people not our own but in need, we will succeed. Spare no effort in your preparations. Once we depart, there is no turning back.
Look at this shot. Look at this shot, which was just designed just to show you. Look at all the shit you've done. Look at all the people that you've met. But you smack dab in the middle of it too. It's kind of cool. Who else is here? This is not, what's his face? No, it's not. I thought this was the lion guy from my Gunbreaker class. I don't remember these bunny ladies at all. Sorry. I think I would remember the bunny ladies. It is kind of bold of them for Shadowbringers because it's like a completely different area. It's kind of bold of them to introduce all these characters that they just cannot use afterwards. Because they can't come here, you know? Like, they're not included in this big fight that is not happening in their dimension. The Malaja and several other tribes offered to send troops around. Many will struggle simply to survive in the harsh climates of hills of Barden. They've also likely proved tempting targets for abduction by this left. They're going to stay here in Eorzea. Alright, gonna pass it out. Let's see what Alice say. I was half expecting to find a man who taught me red magic amongst our numbers, but he's nowhere to be seen. I had supposed he's had his share of unpleasant experience with the Empire, but so have we all. Who taught Alice? I feel like I met. Oh, right. Oh. From he's the NPC for Red Mage. To be in such company, the finest our allies have to offer with commerce. I love Gratia, a little fanboy. We heard it would be cold in Garlemald, so we came prepared. 1 warding scale for you. Share it. In distant lands, in times of strife, together stand, together fight. In darkness shines the light of light. I hope I have done its words justice. Doma, like much of Othard, had been plagued by the towers. Yet while he could not be here, he wishes to express his shared conviction. Hien and Yugiri labor without rest to unite the people, and with their aid we keep the enemy at bay. When we have to step in the eastern lines, we repay their efforts by ending this war. With the mole and the Thorol have sent so many here. Having sent so many here, I thought to defend a step in their absence. Still hates her. They still hate fucking off screen. Her Garlean roots are all the more reason for her to do this mission. Yeah, all these characters are people that we know. Talisman. would probably require considerably less time and effort to produce if the alchemists of the great work were not so preoccupied with making them look pretty. Wow, call them out. Under normal circumstances, I would not be allowed to travel outside of the 12th room. She's bidden me lend my magic to the people who guard them while learning all I can of their ways. I say it's past time our allies benefit from the power in the Seed Seer's disposal. Okay. I heard you got something for us. Just scream all his lines. Ah, them scales everyone's been talking about. Pretty little things, ain't they? Reckon they'll be worth a gill or two when this is all over, but we'll hold on to them for now. Why didn't they send Einzar instead? All the Admiral Captain Hilford told me was they needed someone to help safeguard the future. Some of you might be wondering what good a pirate is on dry land, in the middle of the sodden snow of all places. So, let's set sail, or however the saying goes on airships. Ah, yes. Nice to meet you. That a set of boarding skills I spy? All these adventures we went on, you're just not. It's really weird how she was technically part of the team from the beginning, and she just fucks off because people didn't like her. Even a layman like me can tell they're bursting with ether. Anyway, these will give us one less thing to work out, which leaves just the other mountain of whatever else waiting for us in Garlemald. Her Grace is elected to bolster the Ilsabar contingent on members of the Immortal Planes. Alright. Just one more to send this to. These talents may prove to be the deciding factor in battles to come. Sent by the Empire to infiltrate Ishgard only to throw in my lots with those whose secrets I was supposed to be stealing, and now lead a mission to save the countrymen I betrayed. That is why I was chosen by Lord Emmerich. He would have me put my extensive knowledge and former ties to good use. I will not disappoint him. For the future of Ishgard, Garlemald, and the world at large, I will lead us to victory. Wait a minute, this place is huge. Oh, because it's a dungeon. Going such incredible lengths for the sake of my people, that I have little to offer in return but would impart to me by his ability. You've been told by many to wear the cold of Ilsabar, and I cannot stress enough that is no token of warning. I will be distributing specially made warming tinctures, courtesy of the Alchemist Guild, but understand they are no substitute for proper protection. I leave the provisioning of said protection to your discretion. Now let us proceed to Alameen Quarter. Was that your present? Is it a big snow cap? Make sure everybody's warm. I love how much they're pointing out the cold. That was like a thing that happened, I think, during World War II, where they couldn't invade Russia. Germany couldn't invade Russia because of how cold it was. Alright, it's our last shot. You don't worry about Ryanja and I. We still have what we wore in Garlemald. Yeah, that man went to Garlemald in like sleeveless. Wow, look at him. What a man. Estinian claims to be quite warm and toasty beneath his armor, and since he spent a fair bit of time up north recently as well, I have no reason to doubt his words. I thought that said socks. Most of the others will be borrowing Grand Company socks. The rest of you could do likewise, I suppose, providing you're not overly concerned with style. Not to put too fine a point on it, but I wouldn't be seen dead in one of those ridiculous overcoats. If only I had time to find something of my liking. Oh, is that the aesthetician? Oh, it's Satoru, of course. Thank you. Please, give us new outfits. But how? I have my way, so yes indeed. You thought you could sneak off to Ilsabar without telling me? Nothing escapes my notice. Oh, she got her own little... Now you will wear these garments I made for you, whether you like it or not. Alright, let's see what they are. You never cease to amaze me. But why do you need a new outfit as well? Are you coming with us? It's all in the name of fashion. They needed to update my character model. Then I have one other thing to share. Blumvida. Oh, hey! I'll be staying at the Rising Stars for a while to keep an eye on the events throughout the Eorzea. I was wondering if I could lend a hand in Charlie. We'd love to have you there, and I heard Armigas and Blumvida did a fine job carrying on our set while we were lying comatose. With them in charge of the Rising Suns, we have nothing to worry about. That's Moonbreeda's parents, right? My thoughts exactly. Also, I'm confident you won't go collapsing again. Since someone who shall remain nameless isn't in a position to transport your souls to another world, if anything similarly disastrous were to happen, I'll be well positioned to do something about it. More suitable traveling clothes. Alright, let's see it. Winter woolies. Aw, that's so cute. Wait. Aw, that's adorable. You know what? Maybe I will put that on. This is a glam. Let me throw that in my closet for just a sec. What's the closest no, not Robber's Reach. What am I thinking of? Am I crazy? Where's the closest teleport to I guess it would be Gridania, wouldn't it? I just wanna throw that in my glamour closet. Excuse me a moment. Load times are taking a while. I feel like I need to clean up my computer. Not like there's really anything on here besides 14. I think maybe it's also just a bunch of people now that they've removed the restriction on AFK. I think there's a lot more people that are just hanging around. I'm curious what that would look like. I've never actually done it. Well, it's very similar to the glacial coat that I already have. But you know what? It's a different color. What happens if I dye this a different color? Oh, I see. It's the trim. It's the trim that's different. I'm gonna leave it like that. Alright. Okay. We're wearing it. We're doing it. Okay. Back to the plot. It's a quick detour. Put that on. I'm ready. I missed the winter already. It's getting so hot where I live. Well, not like incredibly hot, but I'd say, you know, it's more bearable than it's been the last few years. But when it does get hot, holy shit, does it fucking burns up. With your clothing on what Alphino and I wore when we journeyed from Lord Horschifon's falling snows to Ishgard for the first time. In those days, I barely knew one end of a sewing needle from the other, and as you've always had very individual taste, I let you pick your own outfit. I like to think my skills have improved since then, but do you know what's more important than skill? Heart and soul. There's plenty to be found in each and every one of my works. Oh yeah, this is the coat they were wearing, huh? Or very similar looking at least. That's cute. I don't know where I got the glacial coat from. I don't know if I even bought that thing. For many of us, it will be something of a homecoming. Our illustrious founder was only our most notable Imperial defector. Upon boarding the airship, several cutscenes will play in sequence. In addition, you will be required to participate in battle. Your progress will be saved at certain points. Thank you. Please note that if you enter battle associated with a quest or log out from the game, this progress will be lost. Hey, look at that. Look at that, I'm ready. Show off my Reaper abilities, finally. Several cutscenes will play in order. Should I grab a bag of chips, finally? Maybe I will. I've had this sitting. You know, in Japan, they sell low sodium Doritos. I wonder if these are stale. I haven't. Look, Radzat-Han is down there, but when you point at it on the map, it points somewhere in the clouds. It's very weird.
Ilsa, divided in twain by a vast mountain range. Those who would traverse its jagged peaks face peril at every step. But why go by foot when one can simply fly?
I'm chewing loudly.
On the outskirts of the Imperial capital, in the frozen wastes of the Magna Glacius, the winds howl in icy protest, as if to warn against further trespass.
Look at Gratia! He's wearing the $1 million coat! Look at him!
We've received word from Thancred's reconnaissance party. They've sighted a detachment of heavily armed Imperials.
Survivors of the Civil War, perhaps?
Perhaps, but there is more to it than that. Maxima reports that they're led by Virginia, legatus of the 3rd Legion, which comprises the bulk of their number. However, they are also joined by several members of the 1st.
From what I recall, The 3rd Legion fought for Nerva in the War of Succession following Varus's death. The 1st, on the other hand, were under the direct command of the Emperor and rejected Nerva's claim to the throne. These legions were enemies.
Indeed. In fact, our sources claim that it was a conflict between them that sparked the Civil War. Yet now, these former foes cooperate to defend a ruined Garlemald from invasion.
Are they on our side though?
Then it is all but certain they have been tempered.
So, what's the plan? If me and my crew is out reaving, we charge straight in, no messing about. But that ain't what we're here for.
Quite right. Soldiers or no, they are people of Garlemald, the very ones we have come to aid. Direct confrontation is unavoidable. Nevertheless, we must make every effort to limit casualties on both sides. Rather than kill them, I would remove them from the field.
How so? Savage beatings, disarmament, and imprisonment? Not impossible, but easier said than done in the heat of battle.
Having observed the opposition, I imagine Thancred had something to suggest?
He did. He and the other scouts have already infiltrated a supply depot some distance beyond the Imperial Detachment's current position. Stored within is a stockpile of Magitech armaments, and once we give the signal, Thancred's team will destroy them all. In so doing, we will deprive frontline troops of materiel, and likely force the detachment to send men to investigate.
Divide and conquer. Not a bad idea.
Once the scouts have finished their preparations, we will split into 2 groups. The first will form the vanguard, while the other brings up the rear with our supplies. As for the Scions, I ask that you lend your assistance where you deem it needed most.
Welcome back. I'm eating my
I
low
would
sodium
prefer,
burrito.
however, that you accompany the rear guard and be prepared to join the van at a moment's notice. Kept in reserve as our trump card, so to speak.
I noticed Grahatia. Nice, you have ice cream? Nice, very nice. I noticed Grahatia was wearing the expensive $1 million urban coat. Just for him to just casually put that on. Oh, look at his outfit! Holy shit!
Your proposal was well received. More specifically, they asked that we destroy the Imperial's toys in as spectacular a fashion as possible.
Istola always did have a flair for the dramatic. She's not an easy woman to please, but I shall do my best to satisfy her thirst for fireworks. All right, once more for my peace of mind. Our first objective will be to rig
Welcome
the
to
enemy's
Garlemald.
magtech
Thank you.
with
It's
explosives.
cold here.
After we've withdrawn to a safe distance, we'll detonate them remotely. Our second will be to issue a deactivation.
We're just gonna explode them. Remember when we thought they had feelings?
Control terminal. If our calculations are correct, this signal should reach those deployed on the front line, giving our friends a much-needed upper hand. A blizzard will help us stay hidden, so let's aim to get in and out before it passes. Trust in the plan, and we should all live to see tomorrow.
In the meantime, I will relay messages back and forth as the situation unfolds. You'll forgive me if I ask again, but are you certain you wish to play the lone wolf?
He gets
Wouldn't have
bonus.
it any
on
other
it.
way. Call it foolish and reckless if you like, but I'll get the job done. I always do.
He failed so much on this one. What class were you playing as?
Very well. I wish you the best of luck.
Were you maining as your tank? Right? Isn't warrior your main? I'm playing as my Reaper. Oh shit. Hang on. Holy shit! I play as Thankwood. Hold on. I gotta go wash the shit out of my hand. Alright. And for this mission, you will be playing as Thankwood. That's okay. I know how to play Gunbreaker. Okay. This will be a sneaking mission. Weapons OSP. Look at this fucking God, what is that place called in Shadow Moses? Shadow Moses Island.
Keep your wits about you.
It's time. We only have one shot at this, so let's make it count.
Swift Perception.
Seven hells.
Oh, was I supposed to distract them or something? Oh wait, no. Oh, this is for dogs. Oh, silent takeout. Okay. Oh shit.
Damn, spotted.
I thought that was a dog. Alright. Fine. You know, you will know the dog when I see it? Oh, no, okay. Then does that mean can I use my little thingy on that guy then? Like, I need for him to go. Jesus, look at that. Is that the dog? Oh, Jesus. Then what do I do for these guys? Oh, am I just not supposed to touch them? Oh. Oh, I see. Well... They're just there to, like, stop progress. Okay. Fine. Big puppy. That's a huge bitch that is. Goddamn. That was scary. I love these little the changes and like the missions.
This is Thancred. The explosives.
Oh, it's voiced.
Very good. All is proceeding as planned. Head to the control tower. It should be to the north.
It's very Metal Gear.
Understood. Have the others wait at the rendezvous point.
Oh shit, I didn't even see him there. Whose footprints are these? I don't know how far the range on those vanguards are, like as far as sight goes. Ah, shit.
7 hells.
No. And they just respawn a new one. No, no. Oh, okay. I'm really surprised you made it. Hey, listen, I might not be good at video games, but I've played a stealth game or two. Not like I didn't get caught like 5 times. I like that little Metal Gear in my Final Fantasy.
You are returned, and none the worse for wear, to my considerable relief.
What news from our comrades?
I love his outfit. When am I gonna get that outfit?
And let the fireworks begin.
Nice. Now play as at the rear of the Ilsabard contingent. Oh, me now. I want that chocobo mount. It's expensive, apparently. Let me play as Alice.
The blizzard's beginning to clear. The Vanguard should be engaging the Imperials any moment now. If they haven't already. Ishtola and the others are with them, so I'm sure they'll be alright, but...
Oh my god.
Wait! Something's coming!
Oh no, dogs.
Oi, oi! Looks like we ain't the only ones who sent out scouts. Keep them away from the carriages! We lose those, and we're as good as dead!
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, oi, oi! He is very loud. I didn't get to finish my chips. I'll fight as myself, please.
Fighters! Protect the others! A brief respite, but stay alert.
Am I supposed to save
Keep the
him?
carriages safe.
Fear not, friends! The savior of Ishgard is here!
A fine display.
It's a little loud in my
Carriages
ear,
are still in
actually.
danger.
Hang on.
Go on ahead.
Turn it down just a little bit.
We're the only ones still struggling. Oh, we put our backs into it then. I've been itching for a good scrap.
Dang, did somebody die? Oh shit. Wow. Cool.
You know all right back there?
I love all the voice lines now.
We're fine. I'm ready for more.
I can't tell if that little boy's supposed to be a little boy.
Hear that?
Just-
Get to the front and turn the tide.
Whoa, look at that fucking evil bullshit going on. There's that evil going on over there. Man, several cutscenes are playing. Look at fucking Castle Oblivion over there. I want this mount too. I've seen it. They put her in a... I feel like her old coat was thicker than the one she's wearing now.
Enthusiastically murder.
It's nothing that won't heal in time. The trouble is, their tempering has made them utterly fearless. Subduing them would be easier if they had the capacity to submit in the first place.
Well, this is the path our young charges would have us walk, and that we all agreed to follow. You knew it would be hard, yet still you pledged your lance, did you not?
I love that they gave Estinian a $40,000 scrunchie so that his hair would stop clipping into his armor. That's some cool armor though, look at that. Kingdom Hearts bullshit over there.
That's Vigilia. Damn it. I need to help the others take her down.
There's no end to them.
That me? That's me! I'm here.
I was wondering when you'd turn up.
Is that Flourish?
There's no stopping us now. Come on. Let's show them what we're made of.
We have them now! Forward!
I appreciate that the battle doesn't start until I start trying to engage the enemy, because God knows. Do I like Reaper so far? I actually really do. Like, my heart will always beat along to Ninja, because that's my first class. But I think I'm having a lot of fun with Reaper. You've not touched Reaper yet, right? Or have you? Why was there a stack outside? You have not. Reaper's really, really fun. And the thing is, because you started at 70, it's fun right away. It's got lots of little mechanics on it, so, you have a red meter that you fill up, and then you have a blue meter that you fill up. But basically, eventually you get access to like lots of little meters that make it a lot of fun to play. I would argue that it might be a bit faster than the meter as far as damage output goes. Lots of health. I think that the story for it is also a little bit interesting, if not for the fact that I was only kind of half paying attention to it, because I really just wanted to like finish it, you know? I do wish that I had paid a little bit more attention to its little story, but I thought the job quests were just not that they're less important, but rather, I was just trying really hard to get to the content that I needed to get to, and unfortunately that meant having to ignore some of the more or less important stuff, you know. And the Reaper side quest, I didn't think I was gonna stick with that. I thought it was just gonna be a class I needed to level up. Job quest story is low-key kind of boring. Right now you've been leveling Astra and using Sage for MSQ. Oh, how is being a healer? Because I'm still very scared to use it. Healer sounds fun, but I have no faith in my ability. Job quests are kind of boring. Some of them are pretty entertaining. I think that the Gunbreaker one is really good, and I think that the Ninja one is also really good. But again, I'm not heavily biased towards the Ninja one. I put a lot of time into that, so I think that you can't really trust me on how good the Ninja story is. It is kind of sad that after level 80 they kind of stopped making it mandatory. And I just didn't even get a chance to do it before I hit level cap on Ninja, so I'm not even going to be able to do it until the next expansion. Jesus Christ, I just came out. Healing's fun, don't be scared. Alliance raids are good to start. Alliance raid is really good. I don't know. Maybe I'll wait until... Maybe I'll wait until you guys come to my server. That way I can run party dungeons with you guys. Because I'm too scared and too terrified. Also, my stuff is just my setup and my hotbars and my shortcuts are just designed to focus on the enemy more than focus on your teammate. So I'm gonna have to rearrange a bunch of stuff so that I can focus on like party members and stuff like that. I think.
A worthy adversary.
Is that supposed to play there?
Rest, recover, reclaim yourself. Then we will fight again, to the death. Sadu Hatun.
There it is. There's the joke, the third time in a row.
That was the last of them.
I think I leveled up. Oh, okay.
The day
There's
is
not supposed to be any
ours,
music here
thanks to
then.
your timely arrival. What of the
Magnite Himbo.
outmaneuvered but not outmatched? Good. Let us take the Imperials into custody and rejoin our comrades.
If I leveled up that quickly,
But
that's
soon
crazy,
must arrive
because
at the
I literally
capital.
started this thing off with like no XP in level 83. And only did like 2 quests and then this one. That seems excessive. You and your himbos. Maybe I didn't level up? I don't know. It just seemed weird. I think it takes me by
So
surprise.
cold and unforgiving. Thus spoke Emperor Solus as he gazed upon his barren domain.
Never finished my low sodium Doritos. Look, this is the same Doritos that I got when we went to
800 years it
that
had been
place.
since the Garleans first
And it's not
set
stale
foot
yet.
here.
That was like 3 years ago.
Bested
Jesus.
by the Kavosi after centuries of war and driven from fertile southern pastures into the blasted northern wastes.
That place. I'll thank you to not dox me.
In that garden of desolation, they clung to one another for warmth. Freezing, hungry, desperate, hated.
I mean, yes, I do mean that. I feel like I've mentioned like the general area where I live, but like not specifically where I lived before, so. Wow, look at that etherite.
The chosen, forsaken.
That etherite looks like it's dying. It makes the etherites in A Realm Reborn look boring by comparison.
In the year 1513 of the 6th Astral Era, a young legatus named Solus single-handedly sparked the Magitech Revolution.
I'm at Squelch. I hate that you call him Squelch. Can Narart your life? Well,
How did
I'm
he
sure you can pay him on
conceive the
Ko-fi
machin
to
that feed
Narart
on
your life.
ceruleum? Once a common, soft-spoken soldier, how had he so quickly ascended through the ranks? Like so many others, those who knew the truth are gone. Taking in the capital with his eyes for the first time, I recall thinking to myself, far
Look at him
colder
styling.
on the earth than in the heavens. Yes, far colder indeed. Bitterly so.
Jesus, look at this evil fucking... Yep, there you go. That's your shot. That looks horrifying. I need a new stool. My thingy's broken.
Not so much as a whisper.
The roads leading beyond the city walls would have been used less in recent years. Nevertheless, this was one of the most important gateways into the capital.
Groho looks good. Take a picture with him? Okay, I will.
A buzz day and night with activity, aye. Merchants passing through the checkpoint, many of them stopping at the local hostelries.
Surely they cannot all have been tempered.
We can consider the question after we have made camp.
Who's this young boy?
If we spend any longer outside, we may well
The
freeze
pic
to
of him
death
sleeping
where
on
we
my
stand.
shoulder? No, send it to me.
Tempered Imperials, too.
This will be our temporary base of operations. Secure shelter for ourselves and the injured, and dispatch scouts to survey the surrounding area.
If we're planning on staying here a while, we ought to give this place a proper name.
I can't believe they put Lise in such a boring outfit. I'm sorry. I know we're not really wearing... I know this is like a
Constant sound of
temporary...
ice cracking underfoot makes me think of broken glass. An apt name, perhaps. But enough of this. To work, everyone!
Isn't he Kane-sen's bro? Yes. He's actually involved in a little side quest he had to do. Him and his sister, as far as I know. But... I don't know. I don't like him. I hate his stupid haircut. I hate his stupid haircut and his adult voice. Look at this crazy etherite. I remember seeing him before. Should I take a picture of him with my coat, or should I take the coat off? I mean, I have it. I have it here anyway. Glamour it up. Where is it? There you go. Take the coat off. Where are you at? Where's he at? Where is he? He's 18. That little motherfucker looks older than the twins he is. Hello. Where is he? Oh, there he is. There's Gra to you. Hold on. How close can I get? What's happening? What are you doing? I don't know how G-pose work. Sometimes... Look, I don't know why he's doing that. Stop. There you go. There you go. I don't know. There he is. Yeah. Hold on. Can I have you face the camera? Oh, look at that. Can I make that a little more dim? Oh, yeah. There you go. Just kind of. Oh, because I disabled all motion, huh? What else? Alright. Not gonna pretend. Not gonna pretend like I'm good at that. Look at his coat. Look at him, stylish. Huh? What happened? How do I make myself invisible? There you go. There you go. Is that good? Are we good? Alright. Onward. Where is he? Oh, first. To the northeast. That's very far away. Oh! Oh. Yes, thank you. Okay, good. In spite of the obstacles we face, our plan proceeds apace. It's a little farther and we'll reach the capital itself. Oh, and I was gonna have to talk to Grahatia anyway. I take my coat off, as me being the strongest character. I have already adjusted to the fair winds. I've been feeling out of sorts since we arrived. The air is thick with a palpable aura of malevolence. It's a monstrous tower on the horizon, jagged, hideous, and holy. Even at this distance, its presence is overwhelming. Yeah, we have to reach the central NFT tower. Because they're building all these, like, little tiny... they're stealing graphics cards and making, like, little NFT cryptocurrency farms. And draining all the ether from the land. Again, they couldn't have known, but it's really funny how the reason why there was like such a long load time when you were playing through Endwalker the first time was because there was a shortage of a superconductor because NFT bros were like stealing it. All the cryptocurrency people were like stealing it. Alright, we get to talk to Grahatia again. You're pleased to know that most of the temperate have been quartered inside the nearby buildings and are receiving treatment as we speak. I do, however, feel no small amount of guilt for commandeering civilian homes. The occupants may be long gone, but everything is exactly as they left it. One would expect to find them ransacked. It's possible everyone fled at the first sign of trouble, though it seems to me they left far too many useful possessions behind. I think they all got tempered. Yep. I was merely thinking out loud. Yes, let's go. Meeting time. Time for more politics. There's no music around here. Okay, well, kinda. Alright. It's very weird for me to experience so much story all of a sudden when I played this game for like 2 weeks straight and I haven't had any story at all.
Our present situation is as follows. Efforts to aid the people of Garlemald have begun in earnest. Moreover, having entered into the capital, the Imperial Palace is within our reach.
But before we proceed further, we must learn what has befallen this city. For therein lies the key to understanding and combating the Telophoroid's designs.
I have a suggestion, if I may. Several of the Imperial soldiers we captured on the Magna Glaciers are members of the Populares and acquaintances of mine.
Oh, I just saw the picture he sent me. What's he doing? Why is he sleeping on your shoulder? That's crazy. I didn't know you could sit next to them like that. I would have taken a picture with Bascro Alice.
Once we have cured them of their tempering, they should be able to give a reliable account of the events leading to the capital's downfall.
A promising idea. I will assist the healers and their ministrations. Of course, I will require a porksy of my own, assuming you can spare one.
Would you like a hand?
No, I am sure we will manage. Better that you take my place in the field. The noxious ether of this place disagrees with me, and as I shall need to draw on my own for the treatment, 'twill be prudent for me to remain within the camp.
This talk of curing the tempered is all well and good, but I reckon the cold is a more pressing concern. All the houses round here are fitted with ceruleum heaters that could keep us warm and toasty. Problem is, the machines seem to have given up the ghost, and if we keep sitting around, freezing our asses off, we'll be next. My smiths reckon that with the right parts, they can have them working again, but it won't be easy.
Ah. Warrior of Light, Savior of Dimensions, please gather 20 metal bolts.
Understood. The machinist will assist them in the repair.
The rest of us should either stand watch or survey the area.
We've made our presence known to the Telophroi. They will be searching for us, if they have not already ascertained our position. That we have seen no sign of them since the battle suggests they have yet to do so. However, I suspect they may be biding their time.
Or perhaps we are beneath their notice.
I mean, he didn't seem too unhappy with
I
the
know
towers
answers
getting
standing
destroyed,
around
since he could do that very
Urianger,
quickly.
Estinian and myself have visited Garlemald recently, so we'll lead the reconnaissance efforts. Perhaps bolstered by a few Bosnian and Dalmatian scouts from my previous excursion for good measure.
Don't forget about us Alamegans. We have experienced scouts of our own.
Who's this again?
Well now, this is turning out to be a rather sizable team. With such numbers, we should be able to cover a wide area with relative ease, including that surrounding the Imperial Palace. How about you, Graha? I have a feeling we'll find a use or two for that vanishing spell of yours.
Twould be my honor to be of service. Though I doubt that you of all people need rely on my tricks.
It's, what's his face? It's a world famous Grahati's actor from the show Bridgerton.
That leaves us with guard duty.
As a matter of fact, I have something else in mind for the two of you and Alphino. Between here and the center of the capital lies the
Jonathan
Evelyn
Bailey.
Mine.
World
Have you
famous
searched the
Grahati's
area
voice
for
actor, yeah.
survivors? Your keen sense of direction, honed in your extensive travels, should prove useful in navigating the ice fields.
Apparently the voice actress for Alice is also pretty, not Alice, the other one, Y'shtola, is also pretty popular. Not popular, but she's also like an actress. And I think the voice actor for Thancred worked on Black Flag, just as not as a main character, I don't think, but just as a background, which makes sense because he's kind of the piratey one with the Scions. Besides me, but that's just my playthrough.
This too is a vital task, and I appreciate your willingness to see it done. Rest assured that a serving of hot soup will be waiting for you.
That's interesting, yeah. I was actually surprised at the fact
You
that...
all have your duties. Let us make haste. May the Fury bless and keep you.
I don't know why I thought that they had different voice actors with each expansion, but they only really changed the voice actors once during Heavensward. Like the A Realm Reborn voice cast It's just some of them are just different. Like Alphino's one is very specifically very different, and Infilia, and you know. But everyone, and Y'shtola, I think, has had a couple voice actors also. But for the most part, they pretty much retained their voice actors, and I don't know why I thought otherwise. So yes, I'm sure that at some point, considering how big and popular this game has been going for years, that they've managed to get work. And I think that because Grahatia, I don't think he was a voiced character until Shadowbringers, because he does show up in Crystal Tower, but I don't think anyone has voice acting during Crystal Tower. It's cold with the tower's closing. I dread to think how we'd fare without it. It makes me realize, too, that while the people of Garlemald have spent their whole lives in conditions like these, even baby heart pressed to survive away from the warmth of their homes. If there are any survivors, we must find them and quickly. Yeah, I'm sure over the years. You remember not liking the voice acting in A Realm Reborn? I didn't like Alphino was, I think, one of the few characters actually that didn't have that did not have an English accent. I think he had a very I think he had like a kind of a slight American accent. Very, very slight. The acting is so good. I know, and I love the fact that over time these characters gain more characterization, so they put a bit more into it, and they can direct the characters to kind of lean into their characters a bit more. And I appreciate the evolution of these characters over the course of about a decade now, I think. I have been ordered to make myself useful. Are you really gonna come with us? Oh boy. Can't we just borrow the telescope off of him? You'll probably regret this. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the fact that consistently Alice is just saying what's on my mind. Don't forget them ether currents. I know I didn't. Oh, you know it. How the fuck do I get up there? Just walk up there? Okay. I never forget about the ether currents. It drives me nuts. My friend has gone through the whole game with no ether currents. I'm like, how? How do you survive this way? He's like, people just give him rides. And I was like, damn. This was a solitary experience for me. I had to find my own ride. They can give him rights to the ether currents. Yeah, that's what they do. I was like, instead of giving him rights to the ether currents, he's just like, no, take him to the mission. I'm like, do the ether currents. To be fair, he would still have to do like half of the quest by himself, and I don't think he's done that. Come on, give me the fucking telescope. A girl. She's running away from something. She's wearing a pale green dress. Are you checking her out? A fetching dress. Come on, man. I like Alphino's coat. She'll be long gone by the time we get anywhere near her. I mean, I have a mount. I can probably get there pretty fast. I have a car. You guys want to ride my car? Warming tinctures. As a man of chivalry, my honor demands I do no less. Oh, I thought those warming tinctures were for us. I remember Genshin added like the mountain region as part of the game world, and part of the mechanic is what suit am I wearing? I'm wearing the Valentine's one, and I just dyed it. You can still see that it's not exactly the same color because I didn't have the exact brown dye for it, but yeah, I'm just wearing the Valentine's one. Onward. footprints are these? Shit, it was from an event? No. I mean, it was from an old event, but it's like $5 out the store now, I think. I'm sure it was from some sort of event, but just buy it now. It was relatively cheap, so I was like, oh fuck it, I'll buy that. And I found my aesthetic for my Reaper, which is just a very formal dress. First we thought she'd gone inside the building, but the door doesn't look to have been opened in some time. She might still be nearby, so we'll keep looking around here. Then again, it's also possible that she ran right past this place. Would you mind searching up ahead? I like how long it took them to come up with another ice area after Heavensward. And it looks pretty varied. It looks very different. It's taking a long time to survey that area. Get her! I must do so without attracting her attention. Can I just turn invisible? Make use of cover such as rocks to approach her without being seen. I switch. Hold on. No, I would be walking too slow. Wow, a tailing mission in my Final Fantasy? I thought I was I thought I escaped from that when I was done playing Assassin's Creed. Is that really just her cone of vision? It can't be that small, can it? It's gotta be a lie. Just a little pitter patter of the cat's feet. It just flew up the tree. It flew up the tree. How does she not hear your fat cat? Hey man. Squam is very sneaky. Dang, bruh. You need to catch your breath. You're the only person in this entire game that has a stamina meter. What are you from? Are you from, Rome? Are you from the original FF14? Did you know that in FF14 original there was no jump button? What kind of bullshit is that? There was also no auto attack. That's the part that drives me crazy the most. There's no auto attack. Like, I never played MMOs back then, but even I would have known. Like, Jesus Christ. Who's depending on you? How could anybody depending on you when you can barely run 20 feet without needing to catch your breath? Getting a lot of Nier vibes also. Final spurt. Alright, she's gonna book it. Watch her stop again. Spurt. Yeah. What's so funny about the word spurt? She's almost done with her spurt. I've caught you! Now I kill her. Hello. Any last words? Any last spurts? Who are you? Stay back. This house is packed with explosives. Take another step and I'll blow this place sky high. Please, we just want to talk. You were with me the whole time? Making all this noise, too. And our good friend Sora. We have no intention of hurting or taking anything from you or anyone else. I give you my word. We and our comrades have come to provide an aid to the people of Garlemald. Oh damn, it's your fault. Yeah. Way to fucking Alphino. Way to white knight the Garleans. Alphino's like, we've come to save you. He's like, shut up, it's your fault. On our way, we encountered Imperial soldiers who had been made their thralls. I like his coat a lot. Those poor souls are now in our care, and we are striving to cure them of their affliction. I would wear a coat like that, IRL. I would absolutely wear a coat like that, with the turtleneck. Which I don't own a turtleneck. You're the first person we met who wasn't already enslaved. How were you able to escape the Telephore's influence? I'm sorry, I don't mean to overwhelm you. Let's start over. Hi, I'm Alphino. My name's Licinia. Okay. As for how I managed to stay sane, I've been asking myself the same question. How are you supposed to pronounce that without tripping yourself up? Ever since that night in the roar, that terrible roar. I was screaming too, I think. I'm not sure, I can't remember. I bet that's just fucking what's-his-face. Then came the silence. Everything was still. It was like waking up from a nightmare. I thought that maybe the fighting had stopped, so I stepped outside. If your hells are real, I saw one that day. I ran past friends who had known all my life, eyes vacant, dead, staring at the sky. Others were mad and violent. I saw them struggle with soldiers who didn't stay to watch. I ran so far away. I used all my spurts to get here. This is Victor's. She's very quick to trusting us, actually. I understand that we've explained ourselves, and I was just for the sake of brevity, but she went real quick from saying, "Stop! This house is full of explosives," to, "This is Victor Spoils, a mansion for retired soldiers." Yeah, no shit. Oh, yeah. Gotta figure out a way to shoehorn in Warrior of Light, please collect 20 dung beetles and bull testicles and goat's milk. Thank you. I'd better tell the others first, though. Wait here. We needed to turn on our power generators and feed our young. Hey, I have that same coat. This is everyone. Hey, I have that same sweater. I don't have that scarf on top of it, though. Licinia says you can be trusted. These are desperate times. We'd be fools to let foreign troops into our home. Don't worry, sickly refugee. Please fix our heater, then maybe I'll trust you. She just sets the house on fire. You mean the bower? The what? What, is there a different word for gazebo here in Garlemald? What? What? What was that? There's a radio. What the hell? Why is that so weird to me? It's okay, guys. I can build you a campfire also. Check it out. Hell yeah. Here you go. You're welcome. That's so weird. Yeah! What the hell is that? It's got good range. Look, you can hear it all the way out here. That's a strong stereo, my dude. Can I go inside your secret base? Oh, it's not even a real building. I should really open all these. I have all these coffers that I just haven't opened. Huh? I don't believe you still. You know, I've worked up quite a sweat from all that spurting about. So I'll leave space around the fire for the others. As you can tell, they're in a far worse state than me. We were planning to look for somewhere warmer with more food, but they're not going anywhere until we nurse them back to health. Which I don't know how to do. Is there anything you can do to help them? I spurted too intensely. I reached my spurt limit. They can't spurt at this in their state. The radio music is very eerie. But also just the existence of this radio is weird to me. Cause look, they're trying to figure out like a way to like, okay, how do you power it? Okay, there's a rock. That's very funny. Yes. There's no more radio stations? What? There's just this one that plays some really sad music. I can treat their frostbite in their wounds, but it will take time for the fire to do its work. This is how she sits. Now would be a good occasion to make use of Emmeline's tinctures. Okay, I'm glad it's not about going around. The numbness? Oh my god, dude, do you have frostbite? We have to cut off your hands. They haven't heard of tinctures? Have you heard aught of the city? Though calling it that seems absurd after what's happened. It's nothing but ruins now. The few buildings still standing offer no more than meager protection from wind and snow. Food production, water purification, the magitech that sustains us has come to a grinding halt. Okay, they don't... Their shit doesn't work. Cerulean engines? They don't have any miners. All is well, yes, never better. Oh, this guy's keeping a good attitude. He said, sweet. He said, poison, never mind. He's not doing really well at all. It was a joke. If I laughed, 'tis that I may not weep, so said the poet, and alas, my tears would freeze on my cheek ere they fell. We are the blessed damned to bear witness to the fall of the great empire, while our brethren lie dead or live on as puppets of flesh. First came the war, then came the war. When morning came, Garlemald would... Wow! They had enough time to write poetry about it. In a cacophony of gunfire, explosions, and screams was our beloved capital razed to the ground. From the rubble rose the disheveled remnants, their lavish finery caked in ash as they shuffled mindlessly towards the palace. Each bearing a fragment of stone or metal, an offering perhaps, the architect of our destruction. A hopeful few tried to reason with the range, only to be beaten for their kindness. But I knew better than to plead with the horde. I fled with my health, if not my conscience preserved. Now I wait with my fellow cowards for our final judgment. Man, you know, I like to think it's not a radio station, but it's like it's Final Fantasy's version of a vinyl, like a record player, and the music is stored within that crystal. But unfortunately, whoever stored that crystal had the most depressing music taste, but also just the same song 13 times on the crystal. A tincture. I don't know what a tincture is. Finally, I'm like, it's a radio. They just call them a radio, huh? You don't have them where you come from, I take it. We use them to listen to messages sent by others, even over great distances. Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Like, Garlemald's whole thing was that their people can't do magic. So they came up with, like, machinery and stuff like that to compensate. Magitech. There are different types, but this model is by far the most popular. Made with quality components crafted with the finest ore, sourced from Locus Aminus. Not all that useful since the capital fell into ruin. The people at the broadcasting station must have either fled or ended up like all the others because of all we've been hearing is the same music. I'm glad they brought it up. I'm glad they brought up that it's the same song over and over again. It's sad. Home Beyond the Horizon. Hey, there you go, just in case you wanted to know what it is. Home Beyond the Horizon. An ode to the brave men and women sent to reclaim our ancestral homeland of Locus Aminus. Fucking... Wait, the quality in the track is also like this shitty, like, a radio. That can't be real. Okay. We may have founded an empire in these frozen wastes, but we always have to take back what was once ours. It's a solemn reminder that though we must suffer great hardship, better days will surely come. Despite everything, I believe the Emperor Varus yet lives, and that he speaks to us through our radios. Oh no, he's crazy. It was a cunning strategy, faking his murder. He must have foreseen this catastrophe and chose to conceal himself. Oh boy, I don't know what to tell you, but... I don't know what to tell you, man. Yeah. Don't say anything. Oof. Oofers. Yikes. Some L's in the chat for that. Meanwhile, sweaty Spurty over here. Hey man, you done drying out your sweat? What's that? Oh, here, I have one more tincture about you. So this is what you gave the others. Thank you, I'll save it for later. She just throws it away. Actually, I have a few things to ask you. Look, she's gonna fall again. Listen. We don't fit in a chair. Especially not when you sit like that. I have a few things to ask you. Are you part of the group staying in Laterum? What's Laterum? I saw Legatus Vergilius' troops heading towards the Magna Glackies a few days ago. Yes. Camp Broken Glass, you call it. And Vergilia and her men are all there now. So how did you reach the Magna Glackies? Did you cross the mountains on foot? We had chocobos, idiot. Airships. I know what. Oh my god. Where is everyone? Huh? What's that? Who? Who's that? I heard a voice. You must be imagining things. No. No, the caption clearly... The subtitle said it was a frail voice. It wasn't you. Perhaps a baby Amnesty is trying its way into the house. Who is it? Who are you trying to protect? The soldiers scare them off while animals have been roaming closer to settlements. If you and you are strong enough to defeat the Legatus, then surely a few bees shouldn't pose a threat. Is this a Walking Dead Season 2 scenario where there's like a dead child in there? If you mind to continue helping us, perhaps you could head to the other side of the lake. There's a small group of tappers living there, people whose job was to extract ceruleum. They still do. Okay. Would you be willing to go in our place? We only need enough ceruleum to last until the others are strong enough to travel to your camp. If the offers still stand, can't I just teleport you guys? You guys can ride in my car. If it's ceruleum you need, it's ceruleum you'll have. Thank you so much. Yes. Finding the entrance can be a bit tricky too, so it's easier to just look for someone standing guard outside. Please be careful. I wish I could like focus in on the frail voice in there. To the south? Okay, you gotta go sleepies. Good night. Thank you for joining stream. Happy Cowabunga Day. I appreciate you so much. Upload our damn Let's Play already on YouTube. God damn it. Bye, happy California. Until next year. Good night. Have fun at work. Let's see. It says to me it's nearby. Might as well. No. Damn it. God, I just remembered there's like... Fuck me, there's like so many of them, I forgot. There's like 10, 4, 6, yeah, there's like 10 in each. Ah, shit. Oh, fuck. I understand that they made the trek treacherous because it has to be believable. But it makes it crazy that I can just walk in here and do this. I can just walk in here, I can just walk right past them. Ooh, I like their little blue fire. Blue fire is cool. I forget what chemical compound you have to come up with to make blue fire. But blue fire is always cool. Who goes there? What do you mean I stand like a sore thumb? This is just your dumb haircut. The purebloods over at Victor's Spoils hadn't given away our location. You'd never found us. Those stuck-up arseholes. Though they could come waltzing in here and demanding cerulean with nothing to offer in return. Looks like the boot's on the other foot now. The capital's gone to shite. So they've resorted to sending you to negotiate. I know your game, sellsword. Alright. I didn't want to have to do this. Consider me intimidated. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to. Being a shit. Ooh, am I gonna be wearing my my Reaper outfit? No, okay. There you are. Oh, hey. Just after you left, the Senia asked me to go and catch up with you, in case you need a hand. Someone must have let slip that I've had a little experience in transporting barrels of cerulean. Well, okay. We have already made it past our negotiations. Who are you? What happened to the guards? Well, they wouldn't listen to reason, so I had to extinguish them. When else would you pass up this chance to put those Imperial bastards to the sword? Well, yeah. Girabanya, Yangsha, Bosha, Damaska, to name a few. Some dragged here against our will. Others fed bollocks about a better life, all put to work extracting cerulean. All given the esteemed title of An, placing us firmly on the bottom rung of the ladder. The old hierarchy means nothing in the new Garlemald, says we. About the only thing that's escaped more or less unscathed is cerulean engines. Still sustaining us, even with our paymasters out of the picture. We hear you're experts in drawing up cerulean from the bottom of the lake. It's not as if cerulean is used for much these days, but with the city in ruins, we take enough to power our heaters and save the surplus for later. And though it helps to save off the coal, it does sod all about our hunger unless we can trade it away. Be sure to tell your contingent we got cerulean by the barrel. If they're interested, we'll exchange it for whatever provisions they're willing to spare. Why don't I just go outside and kill a few? Free to go? Go where? Even if we manage to get back to our homelands, there'll be nothing left for us. Thanks to the Empire, and the knowledge and skills we acquired working here would be practically useless outside of Garlemald. So we're staying for the time being. As long as there's a need for cerulean, we'll find a way to get by. Even if Garlemald as we knew it is gone for good. Gone for good. I feel like I didn't really do that many quests. Where am I at right now? I'm just looking at the clock. Yeah. I did like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did like 6 quests. That took me almost 3 hours. God damn. I don't think I'm gonna be streaming for much longer than this, but yes. That's crazy to me. Regardless of what the Eospark contingent does for the people of Garlemald, the Empire itself is already a thing of the past. For many, that would be a cause for celebration. For others, the whole way of life will have been turned upside down. After all the atrocities committed in the Empire's name, perhaps it is for the best that it is consigned to history. But what of the ordinary people? Their lives, their stories, should they be forgotten too? I suppose there'll be plenty of time to ponder that later. For now, let's see about getting some cerulean. I'm actually very excited for the patch after Endwalker because it's such a shake-up to the world state, you know? Like, the Empire's gone. The Empire's gone, you know? What's gonna be the threat? Alright. I've come to bargain. Oh, her little sister. Oh, that's what that frail little voice. It's possible she died from whatever was ailing her. She needed treatment. Now there'd be any way to get it around here. I may have refused Hostini at first, thinking she should come back with something in exchange, but I can spare them a bottle's worth of cerulean. Consider it a reward for introducing me to the rescue room contingent. Be sure to send our way, you hear? Yeah, why don't you come to our camp? You guys are all on our side anyway. Let's hurry back. Before I get back though, I'm gonna use the bathroom. I've returned. Again, we probably won't be streaming for very long. Let's see where I'm at the end of the trail. I can do maybe, depending on how long this goes, maybe I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe the next 4. Let's see. Up until I get to the level 83 quest at least, maybe. I haven't really had any sort of rhyme or reason about, like, breaking this apart, considering how, this is already, part 5, I think, because I did 2 short streams. I might do a longer stream tomorrow, just to make up for it. But now that I'm in... Yay. I don't know why that worked, but it worked. No. No. I'm getting attacked all over. Oh shit. I have to go the other way around, huh? Oh man. Oh, luckily there's this staircase to the south. Is it on top of this thing, maybe? Cerulean engines. Yeah, I can stand on this thing, let's see. I'll do it later, I'm sorry. That'll take me forever to walk all the way there and back. I'm already trying to do all this within like the next half hour. It took me 3 hours to do like 6 of them. To be fair, they were mostly cutscenes. It was very story heavy. That's actually another thing that I really like about this one. This is very gets the ball rolling right away. This isn't right. It's too quiet. Alfino would still be treating them by the fire, but they're nowhere to be seen. Are they behind the house? Oh god, they died. Alfino took them out back and killed them. They asked me to help carry supplies, but when I followed them back here, they attacked me. You can't fool us. We know what you're really about. Waiting in the wings for us to show weakness, then in you swoop. Here to help. What rot? All employed to make us lower our guard. Let you in, put ourselves at your mercy, put us in chains, steal our lands, get your revenge. You're wrong. I'm Alfino Leveilleur. They got taken away. I'm trying to help them, dumbass. To avoid the sound of clinking glass. What, did she empty the... Oh, it's pills, I guess. You invade our homeland, taint it with the same sorcery used to slay our countrymen. A Garlean should sooner die than suffer the insult. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Better for them to flee, keep their purity intact, and be corrupted by vile magics. Wow. We were waiting for a chance to free them since the moment you arrived. Well, then I guess I'll just kill you. There's only one path out of here, so that's where we'll start. Time to go! What the? Oh. I was like, that's just a chocobo running by itself. 2 sets of fresh footprints. I know she's talking about these two, but the chocobo footprints right next to it. Okay, cool, I get to go back down south again. Oh, but not nearly south enough. Trail stops at the frozen lake. Perhaps they chose this route so as not to leave any footprints. Split up and look for clues. Ew, what the fuck is that? That's fucking disgusting. Oh yeah, it is literally up there. I'll get it later. Good to know where it is though. The wet paper half buried in snow appears to be a flyer for a theater room. Not what I'm looking for. Let's just do it. It's gonna bother me the whole time if I don't just do it. Chocobo footprints. That's some fresh blood. What is it? Northwest? Oh, all the way up there. Damn, she died. Rip. They're both dead. Oh, on the radio. Why would you bring a radio if you're not trying to draw attention to yourself? Idiot. The 2 bodies are already cold. Damn. That's not gonna help our case then.
blood trail. We found one. They were attacked.
Oh. They're dead.
No.
Man. Well, we're never gonna convince them now.
Why? Why wouldn't they?
Well, you know damn well why.
Safer to brave the wilds than trust in our magic. We should have... I should have...
You couldn't have known, man.
We can't leave them like this. We have to take them home.
What if we're only making it worse?
Maybe we don't belong here, but neither do they. Not out here in the wind and the cold. I heard the story about Varus's voice from beyond the grave. Of course, I didn't believe it, but Licinia and her sister did. Perhaps there is something to the tale after all. I want to understand, so I'm going to borrow this for a while, if that's all right. You had every reason not to trust us. We came as trespassers, invaders. But I pray that in time, we will be more than that to you. That we will find a way to help your loved ones. And see that no more children are left to freeze alone in the snow.
What were you gonna try to do? They already don't believe you, you know? They're very decisive about, like, showing civilian death, which is very good, considering the amount of enemies you have to kill in an MMO. It's very hard to balance that out, I think. But I think they do a well enough job, you know? I assume they would struggle in the, you know, every time you hear Ludo narrative dissonance, you hear Uncharted, and then whenever you hear Uncharted, you also think of Ludo narrative dissonance. But it's a concept that your character is a completely different character being portrayed in the cutscenes. Or like in the cutscenes, Nathan Drake has never harmed a fly, but in gameplay, he's like a mass murderer. There's a ether card here. Up there. How do I get up there? It's always an interesting concept, but I think it's a term that hit the mainstream, and hit the mainstream so hard that people won't shut up about it. Straight up just cars, huh? Yeah, I keep forgetting. I don't know. I don't know what to think of it. But I do know that it's what do you call it? It's very hard to make that last, especially in an MMO context, again, considering the amount of monsters you have to kill, I guess you can get away with, like, the things you kill are, like, animals for the most part. That couldn't know better. But it's not always the case, you know, like of course there's a, look at that, oh wow, it's straight up just like it's just straight up like a city street, yeah. Garlemald's a very, I don't want to call it modern, but compared to the rest of the Eorzea, it's a very different place. The street just leads to nowhere? A parking lot, I guess. I guess. But yeah, there's very few instances I can think of, you know? Because whenever a character, like, starts to shed a tear for, like, the one civilian that they just happen to give a shit about, you know? It's very different. And in some games, it's done very poorly, where it's like, why do you care about this one particular thing? I think, you know what, it was a very, very short discussion, but one that I think of sometimes is Tomb Raider, also, where the whole thing with her is that, oh, she had her first kill, so she feels very shocked about it, and she, like, has a very visceral reaction to it, like, she, like, throws up and, like, is crying over it and stuff like that, and then, like, a second later, she's, like, doing headshots to, like, the rest of the army, and it's no feelings whatsoever. It could have been implemented a little bit better, but for the sake of game design, they're just like, oh, well, we'll just throw a bunch of bad guys to shoot her, I guess. Yeah, we killed a bunch of people. That's why they don't want to talk about it.
Thank you for your report. We shall inform the troops of these developments, and instruct them to proceed with the utmost caution should they encounter any survivors.
Allow me to go and speak with the ones at the victor's spoils. They may be more willing to listen to a fellow Garlean and accept our offer of assistance.
I pray you are right. And though I am loath to burden you any further, should there be an appropriate occasion to speak of Licinia and her sister, please do so.
I'm sorry to have put you through this.
My distress is nothing compared to their suffering. So tell me, what else have we learned?
As you may have already heard, we have succeeded in curing the members of the Populares, Maxima identified. They have provided us with some intriguing insights into the current state of Garlemald. The assassination of Emperor Varus was the catalyst for the civil war. Nerva declared his claim to the throne, and his opponents refused to recognize it. Fighting broke out in the capital, where Nerva's 3rd Legion clashed with the 1st, who remained loyal to Varus even after his death.
Of course, even Imperial warmongers would balk at the idea of turning their shining city into a battleground. Like burning down the wood to spite the wasps. Neither side would be so mad. Unless something or someone inflamed their animosity to such an extent that they could not help but act against their better judgment.
I feel like he's had a different voice actor every single time he's spoken. I don't know why, but I can't remember his voice, but every single time it's different. Also, I didn't even know he was in the room.
It
There he
brings
is.
to mind events of the Gimlet Dark, does it not? The Emperor's sudden withdrawal from the front lines, specifically. Nerva and his father, Titus, Varus's then political rival, took advantage of rumors that Crown Prince Xenos had been possessed by a demon.
Elidibus, what better way to disparage your enemies than with the truth, or a close enough approximation?
Indeed. But before their accusations could be substantiated, many of Titus's followers were silenced. While some were merely stripped of their status, others died under curious circumstances. One after another, suddenly and suspiciously.
Again, Elidibus. Like as not, he had a hand in it. No evidence was found to implicate Varus, certainly. Nevertheless, Titus, Nerva, and the Third Legion would have judged it a brazen attempt by the Emperor to rid himself of his political enemies. And then, in the midst of this growing turmoil, Varus Sosgalvis is murdered. And Garlemald's own prodigal son, Gaius van Belsar, is named the murderer. Shortly thereafter, Nerva claims the right of succession. And in response, the First Legion claims the assassination was part of a coup d'etat orchestrated by Titus and Nerva.
So no one is at fault, and everyone else is to blame.
I should add that both parties received substantial financial backing, presumably to provide them with the means and encouragement to pursue a swift victory, and that these contributions came from the self-same benefactor.
I'd heard House Brutus had been filling the Third Legion's coffers, but the First as well.
It would seem so. Though the Populares determined that the First Legion received funds from a variety of organizations, all had connections to House Brutus.
So Fandaniel, in the guise of Asahi, was playing both sides against each other the entire time.
The information we gained from my friends does not end there. One night, shortly after fighting broke out, the capital was shaken by an immense tremor. From that point onward, they have no memories, no recollection of any events, including our clash on the Magna Glaciers. But when asked about the Imperial Palace and its bizarre transformation, they somehow recall Emperor Varus giving them orders in their dreams. May the Tower of Babel stand as testament to the glory of Garlemald.
This sounds awfully familiar.
We have something to show you.
What, the radio? What's that?
Varus spoke to them through this radio. Perhaps it was a recording, but if not, that would be inexplicable.
We are of one mind, then.
The ether that permeates the ore used in this device is almost identical to that of the talismans.
Okay.
I see it. While it is likely more by coincidence than design, these devices might also ward against a primal's influence. A picture is beginning to form. If the tremor felt throughout Garlemald was a wave of ether emitted by a primal, then while those within range would have been tempered, those huddled around a radio desperate for news concerning the Civil War would have been spared.
Are you telling me that those little crystals inside of the radio was enough to do that? But meanwhile, we had people almost die to build our little talismans?
No wonder Licinia kept it close.
My friends, I must speak with you.
Okay.
A young man was
Why are you
caught
yelling
trying
at
to
us?
steal our supplies. He is a soldier of the Iron Men, we think, but one who has not been made thrall. Thankfully, Magni restrained him before blood was spilled. The stranger is outside, if you wish to ask him questions.
I think we do.
Who do we have here?
Garleans? Traitors to your homeland! Have you no shame?
I am Lucia Junius, a Temple Knight of Ishgard. And you are?
Julius Pier Norbanus. And that's all you invaders will get from me.
We are not here to invade Garlemald. Far from it. Like you, our allies in Eorzea and the Far East fight in defense of their lives and their loved ones even as we speak. But it is the people of Garlemald who have suffered most. This we know. And that is why we have come to offer you our aid, that we may unite against our common foe. Whether you believe me or not, those are the facts. Now, answer me this.
I like your outfit. Where'd you get your
Why would a
coat?
proud soldier of the Empire be reduced to stealing? The situation must be dire indeed for you to go to such lengths. If it is supplies you seek, we would gladly share ours, or turn a blind eye while you leave with your spoils.
I will not negotiate. My commander will determine how to deal with you and yours. If you wish to treat with him, I will take you, but no more than 3.
I don't much like the sound of that. But if we do accept his proposal, I suggest the 2 of us and...
Please allow me and Alize to act as envoys.
May I ask why?
We have seen with our own eyes the hardships the Garleans face. How their futures and lives hang in the balance.
It's not the warmest invitation, but it's an opportunity to prove our intentions true. Maybe not a chance to make things right, but a chance to make them better.
I can see that persuading you otherwise is a lost cause, but you will proceed with the utmost care.
I love the... I wish... No, I don't. I was like, I wish an entity like the Scions existed in real life. No, I don't. These guys would be huge, like, terrorists in real life. I know this is like an anime and
Couple
more.
of children, what? A sellsword? Is this an insult?
Not in the least. You will find that they are more than qualified to speak on our behalf.
There are many dangers on the road ahead. I will need that back.
Yank it from his hand. Be an asshole about it. Oh, okay. They didn't want to animate it. Fury watch over and keep you. Maybe I'll do this last one. And then go. Or we could just stop here. It's literally 3 hours. Yeah. I think I might just stop here for now. Well, let's see where it takes us. Anyone attempts to follow us, we will judge it an act of hostility. Okay. Yeah, let's do this last one and then go. Now I'm just constantly worried about spending too much time away from Endwalker that I'm gonna start to forget parts of it also. This game is very, very long and like, you have to keep it all in your memory. Sora, where have I heard that before? So you're to spurt. You're to run, not spurt. Run towards the station. I want to see if he has any flavor text for me. I do love the variety in missions. It's weird seeing a game develop but having to interact with all of it. You know, it's the difference between playing like Assassin's Creed 1 and then 2 and then Brotherhood, you know, and then Assassin's Creed 3 and then Black Flag, but all in the same game, right? I guess a more apt comparison would be the Hitman, the most recent Hitman releases, where it's whatchamacallit, where it lets you go back to all the Hitman levels with the new Hitman mechanics if you buy the DLC for it, or if you had the previous games. It's pretty neat. All right, first stop. Looks like friends knew better than to follow us. Are these your headquarters? No, idiot! Where's your coat from? North of the station is Regio de Moro, one of the main residential areas, or at least it was. No wandering up. I think, yeah, we'll stop there. And so we are still just meeting with his superiors to find out if they want to help us. I think that's a good place to stop there. It's midnight. Hope everyone had a good cowabunga day. I'm gonna be uploading this video on YouTube, so if you want to watch this part, if you missed any part of the stream, or if you want to watch any previous parts of Endwalker that I've put up, they're gonna be on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/soramoto. Follow me here on Twitch if you'd like to see more. It really helps me out. And also enters you into drawing for a free game, which I'm gonna do, I promise. I just like to see more people, I guess, just so that it'd be fun, because I'd hate to give it to somebody that I have no way to contact, right? But yeah, just send me just send me a DM on Twitter at twitter.com/soramoto. Links in my and bio, I think. I think I have an about me section on Twitch. I'm pretty sure I have my Twitter linked on there just in case. But anywho, I'm probably gonna be back tomorrow. No promises because I just decide on a whim. But probably tomorrow, before maintenance, at some point on Monday. But until next time, I hope you all had a fantastic day. I was so excited to play Endwalker again. I really just want to keep going, but I'm gonna keep it contained, just so that I can keep myself focused on it. Besides, I want to level up my Marauder. I probably won't get it leveled up to 82 or 83 or whatever by the time the next part comes out, but you know. Anyway, that's it from me. I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you all had a fantastic day. Again, happy Cowabunga Day, which I will celebrate from now on. And happy Pride Month. Celebrate today by telling all your loved ones how much you love them. Okay, bye!